reveal themselves by their actions, because it's hard to read the soul. And if they've come here illegally, they're probably able to conceal their spiritual signature. You can't necessarily detect them. They've learned to be undetectable. They've learned to blend in, right? As a soul, I'm saying, right? On the outside, you see a person. You see a person in a suit. You see a person with tattoos. You see, a successful person, a famous person, a criminal. You see these things. But the inside, you don't see what the true soul is. Or in some cases, you might see a soul, but you don't know that it's here illegally, without an incarnation agreement. And these kinds of incarnates are troublemakers. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Today, as you can see, we are in the middle of a winter in Canada. Canada has winter just like every other country. And we are still making videos in the middle of winter. Oh, I see I have a friend here. Hello. Ooh. That's a dog. It's a dangerous, dangerous four-legged beast. So, we've been talking a lot about rebirth and incarnation. And the idea is that you are a soul or a spirit, as you prefer, and then you come here and incarnate through a process which involves an incarnation agreement. So the incarnation agreement spells out what you intend to do, what you want to accomplish, what kind of lessons you want to experience, all that stuff. And then you incarnate and you try to fulfill your incarnation agreement. The assumption is that our job is to fulfill that agreement, or what most people call our purpose. I don't think purpose is the right terminology, because purpose is something that it's an intellectual objective, isn't it? I have a goal, I have a purpose, right? And you write down your goals, and you write down your purpose, and then you try to achieve those goals and purpose. It's an intellectual exercise. Whereas what you agree to do in an incarnation agreement is not a goal. It's a promise, right? It's a promise. You promise to do these things, and so you are allowed entry into this reality. So there's a number of things which I guess are inferred, right, in the incarnation process, the birth process. Every being has a soul, a spirit of some type. And there are many types. We've discussed some of this. There are many types of beings and souls. And each of them has an agreement, a promise to fulfill. That you come here to do certain things. Right? It's like you you get hired to work at a certain company, and your job, your task, is to do these things. You promise, we will hire you. I promise as an employee to do these things. It's not my goal. My goal is to get them done maybe before I exit, but these are tasks. These are promises. They come from a very high level, and it's within your agreement, your life. And I know it's a very difficult concept to understand, especially if you're dealing with a very difficult situation, which everybody does. Everybody deals with a difficult situation, and sometimes things happen that really can throw you for a loop. And it's hard to understand, well, did I choose that? Why is that happening to me? And again, the agreement, we have billions of souls all in this reality, and we're all commingling. We're all interacting. So we have an agreement. We come here to this reality with this agreement. Now, sometimes certain people come here and you see them do certain things that are unusual, that are chaotic, that are dangerous, that are absurd, that interfere with other lives. And those are people who I would call are here illegally. They are here without an agreement. They are here without permission. They have crossed into the reality, and they have no agreement. So they are freelancers, right? They're illegal souls entering into a body and then interacting in the world. And there are quite a number of them here. Now, what happens is that if this is the case, these illegal souls, for lack of a better term, the illegal souls will have general immunity to certain things, like, let's say, karma. So a soul enters into a body, right, illegally, whether it's hijacked, whether it's through a portal, right, whether it's through magic. Let's not discuss the term. So they enter illegal into a body, they take possession of a body, and they use that body then to do certain things in the reality. It's kind of I think this is a unique concept. I have not heard anybody talk about this specifically. So the person who has a soul, of some type is now existing in a reality, and they can do whatever they want without consequence, right? Because there's no agreement. They're here illegally, so they can commit crimes without necessarily having repercussions at the level of the spiritual repercussion. Because those crimes, let's say they commit a crime, the crime could be associated to that by the physical body, right? It could be connected to the physical body, to the DNA of the body, to the offspring, right? The offspring. If you are the offspring of an illegal soul, you may have been burdened with certain karmic debt because of the actions of your parents or grandparents who were here illegally, who maybe themselves do not face any necessarily spiritual consequence, and they're going to incarnate into another body and then do the same thing. So there may be a criminal aspect because without, like for example, I take myself, I have some agreement. If I step outside of the agreement and I break the agreement, there are consequences. There are consequences, whether you understand them or not, whether I understand them or not, there are consequences. Things happen. Things happen. I think the older you get in life, you will notice subtle things in your life. If you don't follow the agreement, you don't progress, and once you follow the agreement, you progress, right? If you refuse to do what you're supposed to do, then you suffer, right? Once you understand who you are, the more you understand who you are, why you came here, what you agreed to do, the easier life is, because you're doing the things you came here to do. I understand that we want to do what the other person is doing. Yeah, it looks better. But that's not the way it's designed. That's not the way it's designed. The way it's designed is that you do the things you do. If I don't do the things I agreed to do, then I run into problems. I can get into life reviews. I can get into accidents. I can get into difficulty. I can suffer. And sometimes when you're in a state of suffering and difficulty, it's because you're not doing the right things. You're not doing the right things, the things you agreed to do. That's what the things that are written in the agreement. So if I come here without an agreement, then I've got nothing to break, right? I'm not breaking my agreement because I don't have one. I can do what I want. Now, some of these illegal souls might be advanced agents. They may have gained a certain ability over the many lifetimes to incarnate and to walk among us, but they look human. They might have jobs, they might have families, but they're actually illegal souls, and they think they can do what they want. They can they can commit crimes and get out of them. They can do damage to people's lives and not be held accountable. They can, commit acts which makes them a lot of money, right? They can steal money. They can make money without consequence, and you can't catch them. Those are good indicators, right? Because let's say I incarnate here, in my agreement says I'm going to destroy people's lives, I'm going to kill people, I'm going to steal money, and I'm with immunity. That's not normally what you get in an agreement, is it? That's not a normal agreement, right? You're going to come down there, you're going to destroy lives, you're going to murder people, you're going to spread hate. That's not a normal agreement. So those types of people may be here illegally, right? They reveal themselves by their actions, because it's hard to read the soul. And if they've come here illegally, they're probably able to conceal their spiritual signature. You can't necessarily detect them. They've learned to be undetectable. They've learned to blend in, right? As a soul, I'm saying, right? On the outside, you see a person. You see a person in a suit. You see a person with tattoos. You see, a successful person, a famous person, a criminal. You see these things. But the inside, you don't see what their true soul is. Or in some cases, you might see a soul, but you don't know that it's here illegally, without an incarnation agreement. And these kinds of incarnates are troublemakers. They are a threat because they can disrupt other people's lives. They can hurt people. They can ruin your life or your family or your children's lives with impunity, without consequence. Like sometimes you see people do all kinds of stuff and they're not affected by karma. It could be this illegal soul because they're here. They're free birds, right? They're free birds, and they have some ability to escape justice. The good news is that you can identify them through their actions. Through their actions, you can identify them, as we've been talking about, right? Do they harm other people? Do they destroy lives, commit crimes? Do they get away with it, right? Are they ever held accountable? Do they care? Do they learn? The other thing is, oftentimes in this industry of self-help or spiritualization, spiritual growth, you have people talking about, I learned from that mistake. That experience, they would say, that experience taught me this. I am a better person now. I am a better husband now. As a result, I'm a better father now. The illegal soul will learn nothing. They say, first of all, they were not wrong. They didn't learn anything. There's no spiritual growth. They don't care. They've justified everything. And they're going to keep doing what they're doing because there's no agreement. They're here illegally, right? They're off the path. They've abandoned their agreement. In some cases, they've abandoned their agreement. They've, like a child, they've refused. They're rebelling. They're not going to do anything. They don't care. That's another case, right? You get sometimes, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, and they just live their whole life. They're just waiting to get out. There's many kinds. I guess in another way, we're now introducing many kinds of types of souls, and levels of souls. Now, the good news is there are souls here who are looking for these illegal types, right? There are souls who can identify and find these renegade souls who have entered reality illegally, who have come here to disrupt the reality and disrupt the system and disrupt the peace and disrupt people's lives with impunity. And so those agents can find them, can detect them, can catch them, like detectives or police at the level of souls, soul police, agents, agents, soul agents. What would we call them? Agents who can who hunt after renegade souls. Agents who hunt renegade souls. So there have to be renegade souls, and then there are souls who would incarnate for the purpose of hunting those people down who are able to identify them. Right? Again, all of this is not spelled out as the type of souls because we're in the physical reality. So we identify them as the type of people, as criminals, right? As people who disrupt, people who destroy, people who get away with stuff, people who can make a lot of money with relative ease, and then live off of it, and then can do whatever they want. They're like a free bird. You see some of these people. They just they make a huge sum of money, and then they do whatever they want for 3 years, and then they make another huge sum of money. And how is that possible? How are they living out? And how are they living out an agreement? What did you come here to do? Just do what you want. Just sit at the beach, go surfing, do mountain climbing, hang out. That you're not achieving anything. You're just here. It's like you're here, illegally. You're hiding. Sometimes these renegade souls will escape a reality and will come here and hide. They're hiding. They're criminal. They could be criminals. They could be a criminal from another reality who have entered this reality, taken a body, and now they're hiding, right? Because they're going to be, if they get caught, they'll be deported back to their reality where they have to face karmic justice. You get that as well, right? And you get, in this case here, you will get souls here who commit atrocities, and they will escape to another reality so that they don't have to face justice for their actions, for their karmic actions. And we all have to face it at some point. So it may be the case that the renegade soul has come here, right, and has been running away, has been incarnating for multiple lifetimes, escaping their karma, escaping justice. So you could have an advanced soul taking a human body who has been escaping justice for many lifetimes, and now they're living in this life. And again, you can identify these people to some extent by the type of person. Do they learn? Do they become better? Do they understand, right? Do they become a better human over the course of their life? What kind of people they associate with, what kind of actions they take, how do they make their income? Are they destructive? Are they destroying? Are they contributing? You can see it. Like you can't, although you can hide the type of soul you are, and they may not even remember, but you can see the actions, the type of person. You can see it. You can see somebody who is helping and generous, and you say they're angelic, right? You can see that. You can see that. You can see another type of person who is destructive, who evades, who can, make some huge sums of money, take advantage, all that stuff. So renegade souls, and in my personal experience, because of the type of person I am, the people who hate me, who come after me, are typically some kind of renegade soul. They're typically some kind of renegade who thinks they can take advantage, and they don't like me because of the type of person I am, the things I know, because I can expose these people. But in a way, I don't have to expose them. They're drawn to me. They attack me. Anybody trying to destroy me, those are the negative souls. In my experience, I somehow have the ability to really just antagonize them. I do. I meet them and they want to destroy me because they are negative. They are renegade. They are trying to, they may be here illegally. They are dark souls. And they attack the light. That's normally the case. And it's been my personal experience for probably all my life that these negative types, I automatically, somehow, I almost instantly just get them to expose themselves, which I always find interesting, because I can go into a group and I can almost within a very short period of time, expose the negative soul who's pretending to be a good person, who's been hiding, who's pretending, to have all the answers. They come after me. If they come after me, to me, not to you. To me, that's a good indication that there's something wrong with their soul, with their agreement, whether they're here legally or illegally, and the type of soul. Again, the type, because you could be an ET soul, and then you could have, it could be a negative type who are here to take advantage. And any of those negative types, almost, not all the time, but 90% of the time, they reveal themselves. And I'm sure, as in your life, you have these people who just hate you, want to destroy you. Those are the negative types. They've identified themselves by their actions. And it's a spiritual battle. Although in the reality, it's a physical confrontation, it's a physical or legal thing, but it's actually a spiritual thing. They don't like you for who you are because you're spirit. And I say 90% because there are 10%, they can control themselves. They've been reincarnating for a long time. They will not reveal themselves, right? They're very good. They're not stupid. They're not going to reveal themselves. They can control their action. They can control their behavior. But eventually you'll find them out too. You find everything is at some point revealed. Everything is at some point revealed. So be aware that sometimes you see people doing destructive things or dark things or illegal or getting away with things, and they may be here illegally. As soul, physically they may or may not be here illegally, right? Because there's no consequence, or they don't care, right? They don't care. They're gonna find another body, and they're gonna keep doing that until they get caught.